So
when Left Eye came, you know, the Too Street for TV song ended up coming out on Dysfunctional Family.
Yeah.
You guys remixed her solo album that I think only came out overseas. I'm not positive about that. But did she record any other new material, or it was just all in the works?
She so it was in the works pretty much. She came in and we started putting together beat ideas and like some choruses, and I think she started to lay some stuff down. And then I don't know what happened. Like, I do know what happened. You know what I mean? At that time, I didn't know what happened. We started working on the project, and all of a sudden she didn't come around anymore. I was like, huh. But, you know, she was out promoting with Suge and stuff on BET and everything, you know. Letting them know, hey, I'm on the road now. You know what I mean? My name is Nina.
Right.
So I was super excited to work with her, too, because I thought she was dope.
Yeah.
I didn't think that people should have to write her lyrics for her. She was dope enough on her own.
Yeah.
And I remember I told Suge that, I'm like, yeah, that's cool that you had them help her write, but let's let her write and let's just make new shit from scratch. He was like, go, let's start and we'll see how it comes out. I'm like, yeah, she's already a superstar. You know? So, you know, and she did. She would sit there and she'd start writing just like any artist. Boom, boom, boom. Start writing the raps.
Yeah.
I wish we laid them all down.
Yeah.
You know?
How did you hear about when she went to Honduras and ultimately got in that car accident and passed?
I forgot. I think Butch told me.
Okay.
You know, because I think I was at the studio and he came through and said, you know, Lisa just passed away. I was like, what the fuck? Because I thought she was coming back to the studio when she got back. That's what I was told. She went to Honduras to do a cleansing. And I remember she was telling us all about like Dr. Sebi and stuff and all these techniques. And she was giving the artists like cleansing techniques and stuff like that to do. And she went out there and she never came back. So I had heard that her and Suge might have had a little falling out, stuff like that.
Yeah, Reggie told a story about that. Yeah. Let's see. Can you tell me, like, as far as the Until the End of Time, Dog Pound 2002, New Mix, stuff like that, who was the person that, like, controlled the projects? Because Suge is locked up. Who's the day-to-day person that you go to if you need something? Or
I mean, the person that was in charge when I was there was Reggie.
Okay.
Reggie Wright. So whenever I would go up to the office and stuff, he was pretty much the president of the company in charge as Suge was, you know, locked up. Suge would call him each day. They'd talk about the business or whatever. Then Reggie would hit Butch. Butch would bring whatever reels or whatever artists we were thinking of working on that time. Butch would show up to the studio. And I was just be in the studio each day, like, yo, what are we gonna do today? What do we want to work on? You know what I mean? So pretty much I was there 6 days a week. The sessions were 12 hours long.
Okay.
We're at Can-Am, Track Records, like Sound Castle, The Village. Then we ended up being at Track Records for like a year straight or two. And just 6 days a week, just making songs for all these artists. Okay. You know, so I probably made like 200 songs or more. Because you figure every day, and I'm in there making 2-3 beats a day sometimes, with rooms full of just, there'd be like 30 artists in there.
Yeah.
Kurupt, his whole crew. Then I ended up bringing Gangsta Rib from Booyah. He was going to sign to Death Row.
Yeah.
So his homies. Then we had some of the Mexican homies from LA, artist by the name of Little G. Now he's known as King Little G. He was like 15. So I told Suge I wanted to produce him and the homie Bullet and Dopey and all these guys. But so you had all these different cliques of artists. Yeah. And I would just be up there with the MPC and the keyboards and shit, making the shit live for everybody. They say, who's going to be on this one? They go start writing a hook. And sometimes I would, you know, work on hooks with the artist, or this is the type of flow we should do on this beat. You know, as a producer, I think that's the type of stuff you should be doing. You know, kind of sometimes guide artists like, yo, this would sound tight on this beat. You know, I mean, listen to the bass line. Why don't you write the bass line with the chorus? Yeah. You know,
So the biggest thing that people always ask, which you probably get it more than anybody, is why didn't the Untouchable album come out? Can you tell the story about how you guys were working on that before and why it never actually came out through Death Row ever?
You know, it's crazy because that album was so dope. It was an insane, like if that album would have dropped at that time, Crooked I would have been the biggest artist, I think, in the country, you know, because he was the first one to really get, well, Kurupt did it, but Crooked was so lyrical, like his punchlines and stuff like that, the way he could ride the beats and stuff like that, and his sound was just amazing, you know. And so the shit we did was so dope. I think that they were negotiating. They talked about it with us, like what they wanted to do and everything, and their plan was to put it out. But then at the same time, Suge wanted to be there and be a part of the album. He was in prison when we made it.
Right.
I wasn't signed at Death Row when I made it, so he didn't own that album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it never really came to fruition, like, okay, we're gonna drop it on this day. He wanted to do it.
Okay.
And we would have worked it out. We also did another project, me and Crooked I, when Suge had did a Violation or something, I remember, and we were waiting, like, dude, why aren't we dropping this product? Me and Crook were like, let's go make a mixtape.
Yeah.
And we were signed at the time, but we were like, fuck it, dude, let's make a mixtape and just show them that, hey, and I think we did the mixtape in like a few days in my house.
Damn.
It was all recorded in my house. It was called Westcoastanostra. And did the whole mixtape, packaged it up and everything.
Yeah.
And then when they saw it, they were like, what the hell is this? You know, I remember Reggie hitting me, what is he? He's like, this shit is dope. And I remember I thought Suge was gonna be pissed, and he was pissed. He was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You guys can't put the shit out. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, you guys aren't pushing nothing. You guys aren't putting anything out. We did all these songs.
Yeah.
And the whole time I wasn't knowing that Suge was having problems with distribution. You know,
Being blackballed
pretty much. So I think he was trying to make all that shit happen, and meanwhile we're making all this dope music, and it just felt like time slipping away. Like, damn, this is our time.
Yeah.
We need to push the line on this.
Yeah.
So we kind of did. You know, Suge wasn't mad. Suge, I used to see Suge bumping it all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember I did the cover art for it, and then I remember hearing that Suge was going to try to get R. Kelly to come in to do a remix on the Don't Snitch or whatever, which was like an R. Kelly flip or whatever. But yeah, I remember it clearly.
Yeah.
People were so excited on the Death Row site to hear new stuff, because we would just keep telling me it's coming.
We pushed the line. We were like, fuck it. Me and Crooked, I just said, let's just put it out ourselves and do it right now. Like, if we force the hand, there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
And that was unheard of for artists to do that when they're signed to a label. But me and Crooked we didn't give a, at that point, we didn't really give a fuck. We're like, fuck this, dude. We're too dope to be sitting around with all these beats and all these raps, and nobody could hear the shit.
Yeah. Almost better to do it and ask for forgiveness later than ask up
we're
front.
like, fuck it. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. Here, you take this one. Can we talk a little bit about how you found out that Kurupt was coming back? Because obviously Suge gets out, and he's out for a little bit, but it seems like right away Kurupt is announced as coming back, and it creates all kinds of controversy with Daz and Snoop and all that stuff, because, you know, Daz is on the internet saying, we don't know where Kurupt is. He might have been kidnapped. I don't know if you remember any of this shit, but it was crazy.
I didn't pay attention to a lot of that shit.
Okay.
You know, I really didn't have time to, and there was no really like internet shit cracking that much at that point. Like, I was so tired when I get home from the studio, I didn't really listen to the fucking drama and stuff. So
yeah,
I went to Vegas to meet Suge. He's like, come out to Vegas, you know what I mean? Come stay at the crib, you and Monster, and we're gonna do a show with Too Short out there and stuff like that. And when I got there, Kurupt had pulled up, and he's like, yo, Kurupt's gonna stay here too. It's like, so he's like, let's go have a talk. So we went in the car, and Suge was like, I want to play some shit for you. So it was me, Suge, and Kurupt in the car. And he started playing the beats that I had. And I remember Kurupt was just like, fuck, man, this shit is hard. He was like rapping. I did the I'm Back beat. I had done it at home.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I had like a beat CD that I was going to put the beats out to lease.
Yeah.
At that time. I was going to be, no one had leased beats ever. And I was like, yo, I'm going to put these beats on the internet somehow. But when Kurupt heard him and Suge, they wanted all of them. He's like, no, fuck that. I want that one. I want this one. I want that one. And I was excited because Kurupt was like one of my favorite rappers, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, Vegas, I'm fucking with you. You know what I mean? And that's in the song, you could hear the line, I'm out in Vegas with Vegas.
Yeah.
Gangsta smashing through Vegas, you know?
Yeah.
Because it was me, him, and Suge were out there in Vegas, and then everybody came out there.
Okay.
You know, we ended up partying out there for, I don't know, like a week or something, you know?
Yeah.